Welcome everybody to the Outcasted OC channel. I am Rudy Poo Candy Ass on TikTok and a part of this channel. Obviously, that's why I'm here. And why I'm here today, it's to discuss Friday Night Smackdown. Let's get straight into the review because I thought this was a pretty good episode. I mean, I'm not going to lie, it's probably the first Smackdown that I've seen since WrestleMania because I've had internet trouble. You guys know about it if you watched the previous video with me in it. I've not been able to record anything. So for me, this is the SmackDown after WrestleMania, even though it's like 2 weeks after WrestleMania. But I'm going to treat this as my going home show. Let's go, baby. We start off with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, the new undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions, coming to the ring, cutting your basic promo, to be honest with you. It's not exactly the type of promo that will set the world on fire. Can you hear that plane going over? Oh my goodness gracious me. That didn't happen in SmackDown. That just happened outside of my window. Yeah, like I live right near an airport, if you heard that. So everyone on that plane, subscribe to Outcasted OC, thank you. They basically talk about how the life has changed in 2 weeks. It was the first tag team championship match to ever main event WrestleMania. And I was like, holy shit, it was, because the WrestleMania one, that wasn't for a tag team championship. So is that only the second tag team match that's ever main evented WrestleMania? That's kind of crazy when I think about it. But yeah, like an amazing feat. The night one of WrestleMania, tag team championship match. They talk about how it's amazing, how they plan to keep the tag team titles for a long time, etc. When they are interrupted by the Bloodline, and the Bloodline basically come out and say, you know, we're more dangerous than ever. Kevin Owens, we was wrong about you because we thought you was going to turn on Sami Zayn, when in actual fact, it's going to be Sami Zayn that's going to be turning on you. And I was sat there thinking, that could be an interesting thing. I mean, like you got probably the most white hot babyface in the company right now, Sami Zayn. No one ever suspects that he's going to turn on Kevin Owens, but what if he does turn on Kevin Owens? Can you imagine that? So they keep on stoking the flames. Sami Zayn turns around and goes, I wish I was good at like something in my life as good as Jey Uso is to lying to himself. He's like, don't act like there isn't cracks in the bloodline. Don't act like Roman Reigns isn't furious with you two for losing the tag team championships. And don't act like everything is absolutely fine with you all. And they're like, it doesn't matter what I say to you, Usos and Solo Sikoa. We know that you came out just for one thing, and it ain't talking, it's for fighting. The Usos and Solo agree. So they get to jump, they're about to jump on the apron to jump Sami Shield style and Kevin Shield style. When Matt Riddle comes out of nowhere and evens the odds and starts attacking Solo Sikoa, there is a fight that ensues. Usos versus Sami and Kev. Solo Sikoa versus Riddle. And Riddle gets the best of Solo Sikoa here. Riddle starts beating him down. He goes up to the top rope when the Usos save him. And, you know, they all do that thing where they're walking down the road going, I'll get you. I'll get you. I promise I'll get you one day. We won't have to wait too much longer for that interaction because Adam Pearce tonight announces that the main event of Friday Night SmackDown is going to be Solo Sikoa versus Matt Riddle. Now, before we get into any more things about Friday Night SmackDown, I do just want to say that there was a really interesting sort of theme going on throughout the show where it's there was big men versus small men. And the big men had and the small men had a lot of good chemistry, which shows you in wrestling that not all the time a big man can't work with a small guy. And when it works, it really, really works because we had some great matches tonight. This is an example. I mean, I know they're relatively the same size, but they have a different, they have a different kind of moveset. We got LA Knight versus Xavier Woods here. Michael Cole making a point here that Solo Sikoa actually is. Sorry, Solo Sikoa. I've got Solo Sikoa on the brain. We've got Michael Cole here making it known that Xavier Woods just isn't a tag team wrestler. He is a single star. Remember, he won the King of the Ring tournament in Saudi Arabia. Was it in 2021? I think it was. The only reason he brings this up is because Wade Barrett starts talking about how Xavier Woods. I nearly said Solo Sikoa again then, guys. I think I've got it on the brain. Like I think the hair's taken over. Wade Barrett talks about how Xavier Woods is a tag team lifer. Pretty much, he's been all the way through his career. He's been a tag team wrestler. And then Michael Cole obviously has to explain to Wade, hello, you won King of the Ring. So you know he's pretty good at the singles stuff. So yeah, we get LA Knight versus Xavier Woods. This match goes on for a lot longer than I expected it to be honest. I don't know if they try to set something up more permanent. Xavier Woods versus LA Knight. This is what I thought during the match, but after the events of what took place after the match ended, I don't think that's going to happen. It was a very strange decision, to be honest with you. Like the ending, like Xavier Woods came out with the victory. LA Knight goes for a schoolboy at the end, grabs the tights. The referee sees it. Classic heel move, obviously. For then another classic babyface move is to do the exact same move on LA Knight, goes for a schoolboy roll, grabs the tights. The referee doesn't see it. Xavier Woods comes out with the victory. Obviously, LA Knight is a little bit upset with this. I thought this was a really strange decision. Like I said, you've got LA Knight here, who is one of the hottest people on SmackDown at the moment. He is the person who is getting a lot of crowd reactions everywhere he goes. He's got this. I don't know if I've ever seen this before, or like I've never seen it. He's kind of got like a people's elbow thing going on, and the crowd love to get involved in it. So they must have seen it at some point. I don't remember seeing this move, or maybe I'm just having a mental breakdown. You have got LA Knight here, who clearly needs a push, in my opinion. He's getting a little bit stagnant. He didn't have a match at WrestleMania, which I thought was a very, very strange decision. And then he loses to Xavier Woods. I don't know if there's a plan later on down the line for LA Knight. I don't know if they're waiting for the draft to get out of the way. But for me, I would keep LA Knight on SmackDown. I wouldn't draft him in the draft, to be honest with you. I think he's a very well suited to Friday Night SmackDown. So after the draft, hopefully LA Knight finds like a better, solid, bigger position in the company. Hopefully at the upper mid level and maybe even the top tier. Maybe he goes after the United States Championship if there's a babyface in control of that title at the time. So after this, we get a segment where Imperium are talking to each other, and then Xavier Woods walks past with is it the trumpet? Or is it a trumpet? Francesca. Let's just call it Francesca, because I know for a fact it's Francesca. He walks past with Francesca. Gunther obviously like takes a bit of offense to this. He's like, you are disrespecting me and Imperium, and if it was up to me, I would get in the ring with you and face you, and beat some respect into you. Xavier Woods turns around and goes, well, it's funny that you say that, Gunther, because I've never had an opportunity at the United States, at the Intercontinental Championship. I would love an opportunity at that. So, just to skip later on into the night, it does get announced that next week we are getting Xavier Woods versus Gunther, I believe, for the Intercontinental Championship. That's going to be a great match. Gunther is very, very good at working with people who aren't as big as him. Xavier Woods always puts on an absolutely fantastic match, like no matter who he faces. So I can't wait for that match. Gunther versus Xavier Woods is going to be a banger. Next week's SmackDown looks very, very interesting, because you not only have that, but you've got another championship match there where it's kind of interesting to see that these tag teams are finally getting like formed together, and hopefully they're getting more solidified and they actually are in the tag team division after WrestleMania. But I'll get onto that in a moment. Who have we got? Like I said, Gunther. There we go. Oh yeah, there we go. And then we got another backstage segment after this where Sami is telling Matt Riddle to be careful of Solo Sikoa, because Solo Sikoa is a very dangerous man. Obviously he put Matt Riddle on the shelf for 4 months, and Sami knows he was a part of that. He was on the wrong side at the time. Matt Riddle says, yeah, you're right, I should be careful. Kevin Owens comes in and goes, Sami, why are you telling Matt to be careful? You need to go full on at Solo Sikoa. He's the enforcer. You need to bring everything that you've got. That is the only way that you're going to beat them tonight. Obviously, Sami and Kevin are going to be out there with him. Matt Riddle, like, comes up with something very profound. Like, he can only keep his side of the street clean, meaning that he can't control what Sami and Kevin do. He can't control what the Usos do, and he can't control what anybody else does. He just needs to look after himself, basically. I don't think that Matt Riddle is going to be a mainstay on Monday Night Raw for very much longer. I do think he's going to be switching over to SmackDown in the draft. There's something about Matt Riddle for me that really like screams SmackDown. I think he will do very well on SmackDown if he's ever brought over to that brand. Let me know what you guys think of that in the comments, by the way. I really like the thought of Matt Riddle being on SmackDown. I love the thought of LA Knight being on SmackDown. Is there anyone who you think in the comments, guys, who you would really specifically like to be in a specific brand? I mean, I know the brand split doesn't mean as much anymore to some people, but it does to me. It does to me. It means a lot to me, okay? Right. Speaking of people who I think are going to be moving over to SmackDown, we can now get an interview with the Judgment Day, where the Judgment Day, specifically Damian Priest, have the microphone. Kayla Braxton talks about how Zelina Vega embarrassed Rhea Ripley last week. Rhea gets very annoyed about this and says, "Who the hell do you think you're talking to?" Dom tells Kayla not to make Mammy mad. Damian Priest grabs the mic and pretty much takes control of the situation and goes, "Look, what happened last week happened. As far as my friend Bad Bunny goes, he shouldn't get involved in anything." So Damian Priest is like sort of manipulating the story here, saying that him and Bad Bunny are still friends, and he's like, "Bunny, if you decide to come back to WWE, yeah, you can sit on the other side of the barricade, but don't get involved in our affairs, or like what happened happens." Basically, he basically says this between the backstage interview and then going out to the ring. It's a really strange situation here, where we get like a backstage interview with the Judgment Day, and then they go out to the ring and then have their own little promo session. I mean, either do one or the other. I didn't really see the need in. I didn't really see the need in both things happening, to be fair. I would have just done this in the ring. Like, just get them out, do the promo, and then have Damian Priest versus Santos Escobar. Now, let me just talk about Santos Escobar for a minute. I love Santos, and I love Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro, Zelina Vega. I do love that. Is it an official thing now that they're no longer called Legado del Fantasma and they're just the LWO? Because I would quite like for it to not be a permanent thing. I won't lie to you guys. I thought Legado del Fantasma was a fresh thing that could definitely be ran with. I don't know if it's ever been a good idea to bring back old faction names, like when you had like the New Heart Foundation. Like, I mean, come on. We don't need the LWO back unless Dominic Mysterio is in charge of it, which I pitched many times on my TikTok channel. Like the only time I ever see the LWO coming back is if Dominic Mysterio decides to bring it back, because obviously he idolizes Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero should have been my father and not Rey Mysterio, and Eddie Guerrero was the one who founded the LWO. So that's the only time when it makes sense to me. Let me know what you guys think of that in the comments as well. Like, are you happy with the name change from Legado del Fantasma to, the LWO? I don't know if I'm happy with it, but there's something I'm happy about. It is the Damian Priest match versus Santos Escobar, and this is another example of what I was saying earlier in this video, where an bigger person in Damian Priest has great chemistry with a person who has a totally different style than him, someone who's a little bit smaller than him in Santos Escobar. Now, Santos Escobar and Damian Priest have a really, really great match here. There's a really cool moment, and I really like when this happens in matches. There's a really cool moment where Santos Escobar comes off the apron, or comes over the apron, and Damian Priest really catches him with a right hand. I always think that looks really cool when someone gets caught with like a kick or a right hand when someone's jumping off the ropes to the outside of the ring. It's very, very, very like smooth. It looks clean when it's done right. Inevitably, you get Rhea Ripley, you get Dominic Mysterio try to get involved in the ending. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really sorry. Like, I'm quite ill. So if you're hearing me doing that, yeah, that's not a nice thing to hear on the microphone. That just came out of nowhere. But you do get an interesting like little brawl going on here. I think they're setting it up for Backlash, obviously. You have got Santos Escobar, Damian Priest, Joaquin Wilde, Cruz del Toro, Dominic Mysterio, Rhea Ripley, Zelina Vega, all getting involved in this massive brawl. Zelina Vega has a really cool spot here, by the way, after Rhea Ripley gets involved in the match, where it looks like Rhea's going up for like a kind of a pop-up powerbomb move, and then Zelina Vega sort of like Hurricane Ranza into the table, which is very, very cool. Rey Mysterio then comes out to even the odds as the Judgment Day regain control of the whole situation. Obviously, the Judgment Day back up one way. LWO will take control of the ring. I can't wait to see this. If this becomes a full-on match at Backlash, Judgment Day versus LWO, I am all here for it, because you'll have Dominic Mysterio, Damian Priest, Finn Balor, and Rhea Ripley versus Cruz and Joaquin, Santos, and Zelina, and maybe even Rey Mysterio. I don't know. Maybe they're going to give us a Dominic versus Rey rematch in Puerto Rico. But either way, I'm down to see that. Let me know what you guys think about that as well in the comments. What match do you think we're going to see at Backlash? Do you think we're going to see a full-on 6-man, 8-man, and woman mixed tag team match, or do you think we're going to get a rematch between Rey and Dominic Mysterio? Like I said, I'm really down for either, to be honest with you. What else do we have next? There's a lot going on in the show, to be honest with you. Yeah, Damian Priest versus Santos. We have already talked about this. Yeah, the big brawl. And what else we got? Oh, no. I like this bit. I love this bit. There's a backstage segment here in the Bloodline locker room where Solo Sikoa, once again, he's just stood there, except everyone is hyping him up for the match with Matt Riddle. And Paul Heyman's like, I've just been on the phone with Roman Reigns, and he is not happy that you have been disrespected, because when you are disrespected, all of the family is just being disrespected. Disrespect you, disrespect the Usos, the disrespect Afa, Sika, Umaga, Rikishi, Roman Reigns, everyone. And Solo Sikoa just like holds his hands up to Paul Heyman's chest and goes, "You tell the tribal chief that I got this." And I'm like, yes. But this is the exact type of character that Solo Sikoa is doing very well. Like, he doesn't need to be a man of like many words. He needs to be that guy who is down for the brawling. He's the enforcer after all, and someone who doesn't need to really like say anything else, because his actions speak louder than words. I don't know if people don't understand that or anything, but like, yeah, for me, that's Solo Sikoa in a nutshell. But anyway, we get an announcement here, and this is the best part. Shinsuke Nakamura is returning on SmackDown tonight. I mean, I've not seen this because, like I said, I've not seen SmackDown for the past couple of weeks, so this is new to me. Shinsuke Nakamura is returning on SmackDown tonight, and I can't wait to see that, because Shinsuke Nakamura has been away for too goddamn long, guys. So that is always great to see. Okay, this is a weird segment, okay? A weird segment, but at the same time, I'm kind of happy that hopefully some of these tag teams are being solidified and being kept together for longer than maybe like 2 or 3 weeks. So we get Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez coming out to celebrate their tag team championship victory over Becky and Trish Stratus last week, after, you know, Trish Stratus replaced Lita and then Trish turned heel, etc. I don't know. I didn't watch Raw. I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't watch Raw. I couldn't watch Raw, and it doesn't look like I missed much, to be honest with you, because I don't care. Raquel gets on the microphone and thanks Liv for putting her body on the line so many times and letting her use her as a personal weapon. And I'm just like, yep, Liv is a weapon indeed. She is totally a weapon. You get what does Liv say? She just says you're welcome, basically, and does that weird laugh that I absolutely love. And if you don't know what laugh I'm talking about, the next time you see Liv in an interview like where she's not playing a character, she does like a weird ha like laugh, and it's just brilliant. Just listen to it. It'll brighten your day once you hear Liv Morgan laugh. It's really funny. Anyway, they talk about how they brought the tag team titles home to Friday Night SmackDown, and then they get interrupted by Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green, everyone's favorite tag team. They talk about, well, they basically moan, but basically, essentially, they talk about how are these women the tag team champions when they didn't even beat the tag team champions? They beat Trish Stratus. And then all of a sudden, it's labeled as absolutely fine. And no one talks about how strange it was that it's just in the record books that, you know, it's okay. And they say, I bet I know who like looked over this. It was that idiot or P-brain Adam Pearce. Essentially, there's a brawl that ensues after this. And like Liv and Raquel get the, you know, get the advantage very quickly, and then they roll out the ring and escape. I don't really know. This segment kind of like fell on its ass at the end, but we are getting a women's tag team match next week. We're getting Liv Morgan and Raquel versus Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville. So if you guys are excited for that, then you know, all power to you. But now we get Shin is back in the building, baby. Shinsuke Nakamura, and who is he facing? Who is he facing after being away for so long? Who is he getting in the ring with? Who is the massive star that is going to give Shinsuke Nakamura this big match upon his return? It's Madcap Moss. So Shinsuke Nakamura comes out. He does his entrance. He does like just a standard entrance, to be honest with you. I thought this was strange. I honestly thought this was strange. I thought they'd make a bigger deal of Shinsuke Nakamura returning. I would have given him maybe like, you know, the violin guy who comes out with him. That would have been dope. Maybe a little bit more pyro, you know, like he got a reaction. He got a reaction, but I think he could have got a bigger reaction if like WWE made a bigger deal out of it. But anyway, like while Shinsuke is stood in the ring, Emma is backstage with Madcap Moss. Why is he still called Madcap Moss? Baron Corbin has not been his tag team partner for over a year now, and Baron Corbin has moved on to a different character. Madcap Moss literally has no character like in terms of he is not madcap anymore. He doesn't make any jokes. Can we not just call him Riddick Moss? Can we not just do that? That would be dope. I would absolutely love that because I think Riddick Moss is actually very, very good in the ring and he has a lot to offer, especially if he's going to be doing more of what I seen this week on SmackDown. So he comes out, and obviously this is going to be a squash match, in it, guys, really, innit? Shinsuke Nakamura versus Riddick Moss. It ends quite quickly, but what was interesting for me is what happened after the match. So obviously Shinsuke Nakamura comes out with the victory. Riddick Moss tries to attack Shinsuke Nakamura after the match is over. A little bit of heel work from there. Emma told him to do it, by the way. And then Emma saves him when it all starts to go wrong. We then cut backstage to Scarlett and Karrion Kross, and Scarlett is working out the cards and everything. And it looks like Shinsuke Nakamura is Karrion Kross's next opponent because it lands on him and he goes, tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. Tick-tock for goddamn Karrion Kross. Can we please get him a victory or something interesting to do? Because the clock is ticking on his contract and I think he's going to be released if he doesn't do anything interesting in the next couple of months, guys. How are we going to waste Karrion Kross? Again, I hope this feud is very, very good. This has the potential to be amazing. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Karrion Kross. I am all down for that. That kind of style. Like Karrion Kross can work with everyone if he's given the time. He can work long matches if he's given the right opponents, and I think Shinsuke is the perfect opponent for Karrion Kross to work with. So I'm interested in it. Hopefully WWE Creative is interested in it and gives it a little bit of time, some segments on SmackDown maybe to work with. That would be very, very, very useful. Thank you very much, WWE. What do we have next? Oh, speaking of something that could be interesting if WWE gave it some time, the Viking Raiders, who are backstage and they attack Braun Strowman and Ricochet while they are doing something random. So they attack Braun Strowman, like they trap him, like they run like a massive crate into him or something, and then they give him the Ragnarok to Ricochet. And Valhalla is just absolutely loving this. Can we please push the Viking Raiders? This could be so interesting with Valhalla, like this whole new vicious thing that they've got going on. I really, really like the Viking Raiders. And I feel like, once again, if they are given the time, if they are given the right opponents, if they are given a tag team championship run even, they could be a force to be reckoned with and a really interesting part of whatever brand they land on in the draft. Let me know what you think of that in the comments. I don't know why Braun and Ricochet are still tag team partners. I don't understand why they have to be tag team partners. Both of them are good by themselves. Braun Strowman is an attraction by himself, and we all know how good Ricochet is in the ring. So can we please break them up? Please don't let them lose to... Sorry, please don't let the Viking Raiders lose to them next week, because that's the match we are getting. I do not want to see the Viking Raiders get defeated by 2 single stars. That would be amazing. Thank you very much, WWE. So, what do we have after this? Oh, there we go. We have the main event now. Matt Riddle versus Solo Sikoa. This is another example of a guy who is a bigger guy taking on a smaller opponent, and they have great chemistry. This match was very, very good. But before we get into the match, Paul Heyman gets on the microphone and he has an announcement. He has an announcement that they've Roman Reigns has just got off the phone with him and they've managed to work and bully the way through management. And in 2 weeks' time, we are getting the rematch from WrestleMania Night 1. We are getting Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus the Usos for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships, baby. So, how's that going to work out? Are the Usos... They've got to lose, right? You got to think the Usos are going to lose again. And then that's a further breakdown of the bloodline. Like, the Usos miss their opportunity for the second time. Roman Reigns is clearly pissed off with them because apparently... Paul Heyman says that Roman Reigns is losing his patience with the Usos. Now let's get into this match. Solo Sikoa gets a lot of offense in this match, but that I really thought Matt Riddle had a good counting for himself. Here you've got Matt Riddle, who has just come off a 4-month hiatus after being in rehab, and he looks very, very good in the ring. I always think that Matt Riddle, really should be treated as more of a serious competitor. I mean, I do like his whole stoner gimmick, and I really like the thing that he had going with Randy Orton, but when he was in NXT, that is when Matt Riddle was at his best. When he came in, and like, do you remember that when Cassius Ohno, this is a throwback, when he had that thing with Cassius Ohno and he beat him like 3 seconds, that was absolutely fantastic. But yeah, you get a really good match here, guys. Constant battle from Matt Riddle to try and chop down the big Sikoa Did you see what I did there? Obviously, very early on in the match, there is possible interference. So the referee gets out of the ring and throws Sami and Kevin out. She then throws out the Usos. And then it's like Michael Cole's, it's finally down. It's finally down one-on-one, Matt Riddle versus Solo Sikoa with no interference. So naturally, what happens at the end of this match? All of them come back out and have a massive brawl. You got Solo Sikoa picking up the victory here. Matt Riddle goes for what does he like? Oh, yes, that's what happens. So Matt Riddle has the opportunity to put Solo Sikoa away. Solo Sikoa is down in the ring. Matt Riddle goes to get on the ropes. Instead, he jumps to the outside with a floating bro, takes out the Usos, massive pile up outside. Matt Riddle gets back in the ring, goes to like finish off Solo Sikoa again. Solo Sikoa gets the advantage. Samoan Spike, 1, 2, 3. Solo Sikoa with the victory. But that is not enough for Solo. Solo Sikoa starts beating down Matt Riddle, throws him over the table, and then just tips the table on top of him. Get back in the ring. Wow, Solo Sikoa, Samoan Spike, I'm the best, and Hawaii family, Bloodline, stuff like that. And Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are just very, very slowly pulling the table off of Matt Riddle. It was just an interesting ending to SmackDown. But like I said, we got a lot of good announcements for next week. We got a championship match. We got Xavier Woods versus Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. We've got the Viking Raiders versus Braun Strowman and Ricochet. We have got a Women's Tag Team Championship match with Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan versus Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green. Can't wait for that. And in 2 weeks' time, the last thing that I got announced, we have got another Undisputed Tag Team Championship match that has been set in the books. Usos versus Kevin and Sami. Now, let me know what you guys think of SmackDown in the comments. Did you think it was a good show? Do you think it was a bad show? Do you think it was a bit mid? For me, personally, I enjoyed it. I thought it could have been a little bit better. In terms of, I think there could have been a few more matches. There was a lot of backstage segments, but for what we got, it was good. I thought the LA Knight versus Xavier Woods match served the purpose if you want to start pushing Woods. I thought it was a wrong decision, but that's maybe because I'm a bit biased towards LA Knight. I thought the match between Solo Sikoa and Matt Riddle was very good. Once again, really showing that Matt Riddle is a force to be reckoned with, because if it wasn't for the Usos interrupting, he could have had a chance of defeating Solo Sikoa. But again, on the other side of that, this match served its purpose in terms of making Solo Sikoa look strong, making him look like the enforcer of the bloodline. And I have a feeling that Solo Sikoa is going to turn on Roman Reigns. I really hope that happens. When he was backstage with Paul Heyman, he was like, tell Roman that I've got this. Like, you don't need to worry. I'm the strongest member of the bloodline. I hold us all together. I mean, it was him, after all, at WrestleMania that Samoan spiked Cody Rhodes and allowed Roman to pick up the victory, right? So Solo Sikoa has a fair argument in saying that he's the one who's holding them all together. He's the strongest member. Why is he playing second fiddle to the tribal chief? Get Solo Sikoa in the tribal chief position, guys. And the last match that I thought was very, very good, and he's setting up for Backlash, Damian Priest versus Santos Escobar. Again, guys, let me know in the comments what you think that's going to be. Do you think it's going to be a rematch between Dominic Mysterio and Rey Mysterio? Or, in my opinion, what should be better, the LWO versus the Judgment Day in a massive match, maybe even an elimination match. That would be dope. But that, guys, is your SmackDown review. I thought, once again, decent show. If I was going to give it a rating out of 10, I would probably give it maybe a 6.5 or 7, which is okay for like something that's not really near to a pay-per-view or like just coming off a pay-per-view. So yeah, guys, let me know what you think in the comments. Again, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Go follow us on Instagram at OutcastedOC. Go follow us on TikTok at OutcastedOC. If you want to follow me personally, I have got a few accounts that you can go and follow. I am on Instagram with Hype Reist. It's like Hype Beast, but RHYST, because my name's Reese and I'm very clever. If you want to go follow me on TikTok, it is Rudy Poo Candy Ass. Most of you guys must have seen me on there. You probably see this annoying face on your For You page every now and again. Guys, we have a video that came out on Wednesday where it was me and Ross talking about Star Wars Celebration. If you want to go follow us for more pop culture content, more of that will be coming out next week, where we probably will be discussing the last episode of The Mandalorian and more Star Wars stuff going in the future. We do have a D&D episode coming out soon as well, where a lot of us will be talking about and asking and filtering questions about Dungeons and Dragons. I'm new to it, so that'll be interesting to me. And we will be talking about more pop culture stuff in the future in general, like all your Marvel TV shows, like all your Star Wars TV shows, everything nerdy and wrestling you can find on this channel, guys. And speaking of channels, I also have a Star Wars channel. If you are interested in that kind of content, go follow the Crimson Guild on TikTok. But that is all the plugging I can do for today, guys. I hope you have a great Saturday. If you've watched SmackDown, once again, let me know what you think. And if you haven't yet, does this make you want to watch SmackDown? It might. I'll chat to you later, guys. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you have a great Saturday. I hope you all get really drunk tonight and enjoy your weekend. Peace out.